All right, but let us move on. Sean Spencer's rejoined us. Thank you, Sean, for coming back. We're going to talk a little playoffs now, boys and girls, because as you know, some teams have been eliminated officially, and some teams have clinched. So I figure we'll start with the eliminated teams, and we'll just get that out of the way, because there are 3 teams in each conference that have been officially eliminated. So for your AFC teams, and I don't know that there's too many surprises here, but New England Patriots were the first team eliminated, right? New England Patriots. Your New York Jets, which, again, not a big surprise. But after this weekend, the Tennessee Titans have now officially been eliminated, as it were, from the AFC. So, guys, what do we think of this? I mean, let's start with the Patriots real quick. All signs point to Belichick is gone after this year. What in the hell can the Patriots do to rebound from all that has happened? From the Mac Jones debacle, Belichick's last year, who's the new coach, any of that stuff. What can the Patriots do here, guys? Go ahead. Somebody give me something.
I think they do need some fresh. I think it's time to revamp, right? Bill Belichick gave them success for many, many seasons. We know that. And it's we keep saying it's modern football, but it is, right? And I think it's time for them to kind of move on and see if they could find, some new coaches and give some support. I'm not sold on their quarterbacks. Even seasons ago, I told you I'm not sold on Mac Jones, and Zappy ain't the guy either, apparently. So I think that it is time for them to kind of revamp, refresh, see what they could do. Their defense was still pretty solid. We saw that, defense actually is the one that actually won them a lot of those games, right? Because they were able to stop a lot of offenses so that the offense could do some stuff. So, but yeah, I think it's time for them to kind of refresh and look in a new direction and see what they could do,
Yeah. Nope. I think you're 100% correct with that. And again, they were the first team officially eliminated, I believe, out of this group. But the Jets, I mean, did anybody think after Aaron Rodgers went down that the Jets had a chance? I mean, when you told it they'll be sold and moved to St. Louis, and the St. Louis Patriots, that ought to be fun. I mean, I know St. Louis is dying for a football franchise. Jason Slade said, "Are my Packers and Oilers eliminated?" No, Jason. As of right now, they are not officially eliminated. They're still alive.
Are we going?
Well, I think you mean the Houston Texans, or are you talking about the Titans? Titans are eliminated. Titans, after this past week, they were officially gone. But I mean, for the Jets, though, is anybody surprised by that after Rodgers went down after 4 plays? I mean, the writing was on the wall. I mean, you tried to get rid of, you didn't want Zach Wilson to play, right? You didn't want him to play, and then you had to go back to him. So that was that, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. I was not surprised at all when the Jets started. As good as their defense is, and I will give them points for that, they do have a good defense. The rest of the team is nothing because, as I've said many, many times on this show, Hackett's system doesn't work if you don't have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers running.
Right, there you go.
And it showed. They had a couple of games here and there that they did well in, but it was here and there and not a lot of consistency. So I'm not surprised they're out. So
no, fair enough. And then, of course, the Tennessee Titans with young Will Levis, that quarterback, who has shown some fight this year. I like what Will has shown, that he was not afraid to speak, especially that 1 week again with DeAndre Hopkins, where he's chewing him out on the sideline, like, "Hey, dude," and you just go, "That's what I'm talking about, Will. Don't be afraid to get the veteran. He's running the wrong route or he's not catching the ball. You yell at him." But anyways, Tennessee's done for this season. But what do you think, Sean? Is there some promise here going forward with Will Levis and some of this? I mean, do you think Derrick Henry tries to go somewhere else, or is it time for him to call it a career?
I mean, I wonder how many years he has left.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
He's getting older.
I do.
He's getting older. Same with Tannehill. You know what I mean? And Vrabel's he's another one that potentially could be on his way out. I mean, so I honestly, coming into the season, I didn't have the highest of hopes for Tennessee, and Tennessee actually didn't do that bad. That defense isn't that bad, and I'm impressed by Will Levis and what he's done. Kind of stinks for Malik Willis because he just totally got bypassed on that list. But but
pretty sure.
At the end of the day, I don't know how much weight we can put in them holding everybody together for another ride. Yeah. Because they're already kind of falling apart. The fact that they even went and got DeAndre Hopkins in the first place shows that they were, because he wasn't DeAndre of his prime. You know what I'm saying? He was.
Yeah.
This is a little past his years, kind of like when AJ Green got picked up by the Cardinals. So.
Oh yeah, that's true, bro. Yeah, no, it should be. I mean, but again, those are your 3 eliminated teams so far from the AFC. Let's go to the NFC here. You can see the list, guys. I mean, the Carolina Panthers, not a surprise, right? That's, they had a bad team kind of going in. You got the rookie quarterback in there, Bryce Young. He didn't really have anything to work with, let's be honest. Luckily for us, we have that first pick that Carolina is probably going to get. So we're looking like we're going to get that number 1 pick, our Chicago Bears. So I'm happy about that. But I don't think anybody's really surprised by Carolina, are they? That was doomed to happen quickly. Right? No surprises there. Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, are the next on that list. I mean, do we know, like, what is happening in Arizona? Like, I know Kyler Murray didn't come back till half the year was over, but like, what in the world is going on in Arizona? Does anybody have any thoughts on what the Cardinals are doing there?
I don't think they know what they're doing. I think that honestly they thought, and I understand, because when we first saw Kyler come in, everybody was excited about this kid, right? And then he got hurt, and then there were all these other things going on. And so I think that for a while they were building that team to be, Kyler's team, right? And then he's injury prone, he's in and out. And so like I think that's really what happened to them, is it didn't go the way they planned. And so I think that now they have to figure out how to move forward with him and start from scratch again, which sucks, right?
Well, didn't they already start from scratch this year? They pretty much got rid of every decent player they kind of had.
But I think they got to figure out their QB move. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, they really, now they do have to kind of, because he's not a rookie anymore, right? He's 5th year? 6th year? I don't remember.
I have to check on the Kyler Murray. Yeah, he's got to be close to the end. And the thing is, you're getting a high draft pick if you're the Cardinals again.
Right.
I mean, you've only got 3 wins as well. So, I mean, is there a Drake May in their future? Is there a who else is coming out for the college quarterbacks this year besides Caleb Williams and Drake May?
Yeah,
there's a few out there, right?
It's only because we know he's always injured now, right? It's like he misses and that's unfortunate, right? Because he can't. It just happens like that sometimes. So I guess that's kind of where I think that's where they're stuck at, and so I feel like you do have to draft a quarterback to help him out. I don't think you get rid of him. That's kind of crazy. I think whatever, if he's his 4th option, 5th option.
Yeah, I'd have to check on it. I'll be honest. I'm sorry, I don't know that.
To me, they should still keep him.
I just looked. They just signed his 5th year option last year.
That makes sense. Yeah,
so he's done. His contract's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his contract's up this year. Then there you go.
Yeah, so
that could be the end of Kyler Murray in Arizona.
It might be. So that's why I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure. So I don't know. It kind of sucks though. I think we saw a lot of talent in him, right? I mean, especially for being a smaller guy.
What do you mean? Did they pay? What do you mean?
Did they not pay him? I thought that was a big above.
They paid him for his 5th year option.
They picked up the 5th year option apparently. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see.
They'll pay him for that, and then probably be gone next year. Then probably.
Yeah.
Looks like the Cardinals are drafting the quarterback, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think they will be.
They might take your boy, Sean. Carolina, Mr. Drake May might go to the Arizona Cardinals. You never know. But Sean, the last team on that list, I think you're a little familiar with, even though you may not want to talk too much about this. Your Washington Commanders were officially eliminated from El Playoff Contención this past weekend. What are your feelings on that, sir?
Well, we might also be in that QB hunt. I mean, it looks like everybody was kind of correct on the Sam Howell situation. I still contest it, but when you don't win games, it doesn't matter what you have to say. Same reason I think we're having a lot of this conversation about Justin Fields is because if you don't win, then people have the right, then they get to say it. Nobody really questions Patrick Mahomes and his excitement over what happened because we know he's a winner. You know what I mean? Right. It's an interesting standard that we put on some of these quarterbacks, but I'll get off my soapbox. As far as Commanders, I think all of you guys, I think you were right, Nick. Before the season, I think Ben, all of you, Johnny, a lot of you were talking about Sam's not the guy. I personally think it's crazy for us to look at a team that has everything else that we can say is in a dumpster fire, and yet we can still judge Sam in the same way. But at the end of the day, you can't say anything. The coaching was bad. We've had players that were bad. And once we traded, Montez Sweat, who you guys benefited from, and Chase Young, who I think got his first sack against the Cardinals, I mean, the writing was on the wall. So Ron is on his way out. So I'm not surprised by this, especially with how we played. And now, I mean, we got Jacoby in there, and right now we've got, I think, the third or fourth pick with our record.
Yeah.
So
you guys are up there now too. So yeah, exactly.
There's a number of guys: Caleb Williams, Drake May, Sam Hartman, Bo Nix, Michael Penix.
Yeah, Bo Nix, Oregon. Yeah, Penix Jr.
There's a ton of quarterbacks that are available. So I'm sure we'll be in the running for something, because whoever the new coach is probably going to want his guy. And
that's true. That's very true. Yeah, but I understand how you feel. Like I said, it's kind of the Bears thing, right? Because everybody's Justin Fields a bum, get rid of the guy, this and this and that. But coaching has been bad. Like the offense line we finally had the first time since the last 3-4 years, we had the same offensive line start 4 games in a row, and then Tevin Jenkins leaves the game, and I almost cried. So it's just like, really, we finally had something going on the offensive line, and Tevin Jenkins goes out, and you just go, why is this happening? So I totally feel your pain on that one, my friend. Again, it wasn't that because I knew we talked about this, and you and I'll get out of this briefly after I say this. But yeah, I wanted to see. I wasn't sold, but at the same time, your passion and everything made me say, well, let me give the kid a chance. Let me see if he can do something.
Can I ask you why you weren't sold initially?
Initially, why I wasn't sold? I think it was a combination of things. He seemed like he had an arm. I won't deny that. I saw the kid throw. I thought he had an arm, okay? But unfortunately, as you know, an arm doesn't always equate to a great success in the NFL. And again, I could have been wrong about this, but I thought he wasn't the most mobile guy. And I think, like you said, he had a couple of weapons on offense, but I don't know that everything gelled, and it just didn't look like it was going to be a situation where that kid was going to succeed. Yeah, you start him because he's the rookie and all this, or he had the one start last year. But I just wasn't sold. I mean, I don't. Again, that can come from nothing else than me. Just from what and again, that's not always a great barometer, because some people, as you know, are lights out in college and suck in the NFL. And you've had guys who have done crap in college and have come out and been great quarterbacks. So again, not always a great judge of that. But yeah, you and I talked about
this with the system, like kind of with Justin Fields and how you guys are saying like it's a defensive coach and they're not helping him. Does any of that, like, I guess that's been my whole argument this whole year. When does my situation seems fairly similar to the situation you guys are going through? So why is it that Sam is looked at as he'd be lucky if he makes it, and then other quarterbacks it's like, oh yeah, give them the benefit of the doubt until they fail? I think that's the problem I've always had, because I look at other teams and these quarterbacks were saying, oh yeah, they're the best, they're this and that. And then with Sam, it's like he holds on. All accurate statements. He holds on to the ball. He takes sacks, yada yada. But if your play call is, if your quarterback, if you don't have a running game, you can't rely on the run, so you have to throw it all the time. If your defense is not helping and you're coming in, in the Bears game, our first 2 drives we went 3 and out. You guys went up 10-0. No matter how badly you were struggling, you still had that early momentum on us, and we didn't get kickstarted to the second quarter. By that time, you had already been up by like 20 points. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I got you.
A lot has to do with the scheme and things that are coming together. Because if you looked at him from college, he still holds the record for most passing touchdowns in the ACC with 93. You know what I mean? The guy was a stud in college with talent and without. And then I just think from all the guys, I hold you guys high respect. So whenever we talk football, I always kind of want to see where people are coming from.
No, absolutely.
You know, when people are saying it, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, yeah.
Well, again, I get it. Like I said, and I just, again, I don't say I'm an expert on any of this. Again, I see what I see, or I look at something and go, okay. And like, again, there was a lot of things in, like you said, in Washington that just didn't seemed like they were to go in this kid's favor, and it turned out to be that they didn't. So again, it may seem like I
not
looked
him,
like I
though.
was right, but
I don't know
but
if
yeah,
he
it
would
was
have brought in any quarterback that would have been able to work with that team.
no, and that's
my
true.
problem.
And no, I get it 100%. So let us move on then, because those teams are the ones that are eliminated. But there are 4 teams that have clinched as well, and of course, only one in the AFC, which of course is the Baltimore Ravens, who have officially clinched a playoff spot. And, shout out to Nathan Snell, who probably is extremely happy, but knowing Nate, he'll do an entire podcast on why the Ravens won't do well in the playoffs. But we love Nate, and the Ravens are currently in, so they're in. Nate, be happy, celebrate for now. You guys look like you could potentially be the 1 seed there in the AFC. The way things are going, you guys keep on winning. I think it's yours. But yeah, how do we? And I'll ask this just to all of you: how do we feel about Baltimore? We've seen this before. Lamar Jackson, much maligned through a lot of his career, having a very good year.
They have a very good liked him. I've been saying that for seasons.
I'm just saying, much maligned though by a lot of people, Mr. Jackson, for not having a strong arm, not having this, not doing that. He's just a running quarterback, all that. But finally got a couple of weapons with him. Finally got some guys who can catch a football. Defense is playing well. A Roquan Smith, who we gave up to Baltimore, things like that. So how do we feel about Baltimore going into these playoffs? Do we think they have a chance to make a run at the old Super Bowl? What do you guys think?
I think they do have a chance, better than last year. We saw it. I think so. Last season we saw, and no hate on. Oh my God, I knew his name 2 seconds ago. What's wrong with me? Huntley, yeah. Right? He was the one who went in when Lamar got hurt.
Oh yeah, the backup.
So last season we saw what happened when the Ravens were making that run. Right? That playoff run that they didn't want Baltimore, they didn't want to pay him. And so there was a lot of things going on. And so Lamar's like, you know what? I'm still hurt. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna heal and see how you guys do without me. And he proved his point.
Yeah.
He proved his point, didn't he? He proved his point. He's like, all right, go ahead. Let me heal my knee or whatever it was. Yeah, remember? He was like, I was like, go ahead. And I think that it finally proves what he's been trying to say. And I've always felt really crummy for him because he's out there saying like, no, why am I not being discussed? I'm doing what I got to do. I'm running, I'm passing, and I still am aligned and, and all the jokes and stuff. And so I'm glad that they made it to the playoffs, And so, and I don't know if they'll make it all the way to the Super Bowl, but I think they can make a good run for it. I'm not gonna say that they're not gonna I think they can make a good run for it. I think it's right that they're first seed. I think that people didn't take them seriously when they came in again this season, and I think that I feel that they've more than proved that they deserve to be in the playoffs. And I don't know what else Lamar has to do except win a Super Bowl, right? That's always what people want, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. He is in the best position he's ever been to try and win a Super Bowl. And considering what people were saying and considering what happened last season, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, that question mark's always going to be there.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of the matter is with that. And I think he's a very talented guy, and I understood why he was doing it. It's just that there's always going to be someone on the other side saying, you chose wrong. You don't have the quarter. You don't have the ring. So,
there it is. Very true. So let's look at the NFC, which of course we know. I think we all agree that definitely the weaker of the 2 conferences at this point. But 3 teams now have already, to show you that 3 teams have already clinched in the old NFC. I mean, isn't this one of those things where you go, I kind of thought at least 2 or 3 of, these 3 teams would probably end up in the playoffs anyways, going into this year. What do you think of the 49ers being the 1 seed? Is that what everybody would have predicted when the season started?
Yeah, I thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl last season before Purdy went down, to be honest.
Yeah, right. A lot of people did think that. That's true. We were all watching going, oh no, that is not good. But you consider
especially when you get down to your 3rd quarterback.
I know. And then they put CMC briefly. Remember that? That was CMC.
At some point, you just
created a rule change this year.
Yeah, right. I mean,
So, yeah.
what else do you do at that point? Just throw in anybody. I mean, they could have called Sean, and Sean could have quarterbacked. It would have been the same. What else are you going to do? You have no choice. You're getting killed, by an Eagles team. What do? You kind of throw in the towel and go, damn, we lost this one. Let's regroup, come back next year. And they have. And to their credit, again, this is we always talk about this stuff too. They call the last pick in the draft Mr. Irrelevant. I don't think Brock Purdy's being called Mr. Irrelevant anymore now, is he? I think he's pretty relevant, my friends, and he's leading this. And again, you could say, maybe this is the opposite. Sean talking about having no support and this kid walked into a pretty good situation with a ready-made team, essentially. So to the victor goes the spoils, I guess. Purdy got the best of everything, and look at what's happened. The kid, everybody thinks and again, he's not. I'm not saying he's not a bad. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he isn't. But is the situation helping the fact of his, development and the way that he's progressed? Does that help? It has to, right? I mean, you came in with one of the greatest
talent.
Yeah,
he's surrounded by talent, and then he's got a coach that's willing to change the system to his strengths and what he can do.
Yes.
So that's the conversation we've been having all over this place is about this. So, I mean,
someone like a freak CMC who could do whatever, and then you got.
I mean, darn it! You actually changed your game plan to fit your quarterback. What a novel idea! I can't believe they thought of that. Oh my goodness, that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
maybe not.
They're just great. I mean, and they're balanced, right? Because their defense is no slouch either. So.
Well, defense is good. Both of their lines. I mean, both of their lines are top 5, defensive and offensive. They both have great lines. They have 2 great lines. I mean, you've got just Christian McCaffrey's in your backfield. Hello. You got Tebow, you got Brandon, you got George Kittle at the tight end position. I think he's in a great situation, and it shows. They're the number 1 seed as of right now. But how about them Cowboys? Now, maybe I'm going to upset some Dallas fans right now with what I'm about to say, but whatever, I'll live with it. I'm still not sold on the Cowboys, not because Dak is not having a good year. I get it, okay? I get it. But I still have the image of watching Ezekiel Elliott get knocked on his ass last year on that last play of that game, trying to do that trick play that just reminds me how Dallas always folds when it counts. Now, again, they're listed as the number 2 seed, but that doesn't give them a bye, obviously, because the number 1 seed is the only team that gets a bye. Mm-hmm. So what do we think? I mean, are we going to see a repeat of just every Cowboys team we've seen in the last 10 years where they have a great regular season, and the minute they get to the playoffs, they crap the bed? What do you guys think? Is this a different year for Dallas?
Yeah, honestly, I think if they don't have to come against, and this is obviously hard, if they don't have to come against a rushing team, a team that can run the ball very well, then they actually are my favorite to go to the Super Bowl. To be quite honest, they have the defense, number 1. They have the offensive weapons, number 2. We know what they do with the coaching. I do have an issue with their adjustments, as you saw in the Buffalo game. They didn't really make adjustments in that second half, and that's why they weren't able to turn it around. But honestly, if you honestly look at them and you look at if they are coming this thing, and let's say they get the 5 seed. Then they play the winner of the NFC South, easy matchup there. As long as they don't have to play a San Francisco, they're already proven they can beat Philly. They stomped them the second time and barely lost them the first time. So, exception of San Francisco, or the exception of somebody that has a dominant run game. San Francisco got him. Philly got him in the first game. What's it called? Arizona. They had their run game.
Fluke Arizona game, right?
Yeah. Who does Fluke play?
Again,
I forgot.
But again, if you go, two plays 7.
7s. Okay.
Two plays 7, 4, 5, 3, 6. Yeah. 2, 1.
Okay.
But if you look at that Arizona game, what hurt Dallas was the mobility. Josh Dobbs is a very mobile quarterback. The running game had over 200 yards in that game. We've realized the middle of that defense for Dallas is suspect. I mean, forever great the secondary and the linebackers, Michael Parsons is, the middle of that line is suspect. But they don't have it. They don't have to. If they get just shootouts, they don't have to face a running game. They're my favorite in the NFC.
Okay. No, that's fair. And again, I don't mean to dump on Cowboy fans, and I know it's a fun thing to do and everybody thinks it's funny, but you do at some point go, when do they break that curse for themselves and finally get over the hump? I mean, this could very well be the year in that NFC. So I'll definitely be looking to see how that happens as that progresses. If they stay that number 2 seed or if the Eagles find a way to overtake them, which let's talk about said Philadelphia Eagles. The reigning NFC champions got to the Super Bowl. We all know how they lost on that last drive comeback, but they still came up short. Eagles have been interesting this year because they it's still the same team essentially, right? I don't think anybody's really gone. I don't remember anybody. They pretty much have the same team they had last year. Hurts another year to improve himself, huh?
They lost their coordinators, offensive and defensive.
Oh, they lost the coordinator. Okay, right. Okay, they lost it. Okay. But same team in terms of that. So, you have the same personnel essentially. Well, what do you guys think? Do the Eagles find a way to overtake Dallas, or do they stay the 5 and have to play that, definitely play that first weekend? What do we think of the Eagles as of right now?
I don't trust it.
You don't trust it?
I don't. I think it's funny that we just said, sometimes it's the coaches. Obviously, in this case, it is. Because it is the same. It is the same players. And Sean is right. Only thing that changed were the coordinators. And so, I guess maybe that's why we
injuries.
Injuries, but we've all seen inconsistencies in their play, right? Where they'll go out and they'll ball out, but then they'll make really bad mistakes. We almost beat them, and that was surprising, right? I was like, what? So
no, that would have been nice, but yeah.
Yeah. So
last year and this year, exactly. You should have had them both times.
But I'm saying it's it's the way they're playing is not the high caliber they were last year. It took them to the Super Bowl is what I meant, right? And it's hard to do back-to-back Super Bowls now. It's really not.
Yeah.
That back-to-back Super Bowl run.
Unless you're the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, and even then they've been a year off, right, or a season. You know what I mean? It's just that's what I'm saying. It's that back-to-back boom, boom, boom. It's really difficult to do, and I think that they also play. Teams learn their system, right? That tush push that we always made fun of. Eventually, people figured out how to defend it. You know what I mean? People figured it out, and so I think that now teams know how to beat them. And honestly, I just don't see them playing like they did last year. Last year they were lights out, right? Last year they were whatever, and
it happens.
And so I just don't see them winning the NFC this time and doing a Super Bowl run. I do think it'll be, for me, it's 49. To me, I think the NFC championship game is going to be the really fun and classic 49ers and Cowboys. I think that's what I'm going to see for the NFC championship.
Okay. Yeah. Harken back to the late 80s, early 90s there with Dallas and San Francisco. Classic matchups of past, right? Yes. Exactly. I think that's what we're going to see.
I think Philly is going to win the East, though, and the reason why I say that is you look at the last 3 games Philly's got. They got the Giants twice, and then they got Arizona. As opposed to Dallas. Dallas has Miami, Detroit, and then obviously they get a cupcake in Washington at the very end of the year. But still, with Miami and Detroit both having stuff to play for, and again, let's remember Detroit wants to be moved up a little bit. They want to be jumped up in there. So it's going to be interesting. But I think Philly's got it. It's going to be interesting to see because Philly reminds me a little bit of KC, who Tina knows very well, who we all questioned during the season when they struggle. But the last 5 years, they've been at least in the AFC Championship game. So it's kind of like, is it something where they found out, just get through the season? Because they were 10-1 up until these last 3 games when they went to 10-4. So maybe it's something that's like, just get to the playoffs and then the new season begins. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. No. And that's sometimes what happens. You get hot at the right time. And, kind of Cincinnati a couple years ago when they ended up playing in the Super Bowl against the Rams. Mm-hmm. They got hot at the right time, and look what happened. So, a lot of possibilities here. Again, we're only 4 teams officially clinched in the NFC, 3 in the NFC and 1 in the AFC. So still a lot of football. Obviously, after Week 16 this week, I think the playoff picture will be a little bit more clear after we get past this weekend. So we'll definitely be watching for all of that.